to all. This is Alejandro Bratti and William Agley from Unlock Clarity, and welcome to Spanglish World Network on Singo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download Singo TV app on the respective app stores on iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure to rate and leave a comment. The app is free and is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Roku, and all smart TVs. Thank you, William, for being here today. How are you feeling today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am wonderful too. A lot of things we have been doing. And we changed
The background. Oh,
the
hey.
background. Okay, so today I know that we are going to be talking something very interesting about plan. And for me, this topic is really interesting because now I have been, that's something that I have done all my life. I am always planning ahead what is everything that I'm going to do. But at the same time, I am learning now to live in the present and understand that when you are in the present, that is something that I have to, I can live much better if I am in the present. So that is
It's
like a mix,
it
sometimes.
is because it's like you were explaining earlier. Um, what we end up doing when we're planning is we're actually worrying about the future. We're not actually planning for it per se. We're actually living in the future, going, "Oh my God, what is going to happen?" So, in terms of the plan, it's like if we go with what what does life look like with clear vision, passion, and a purpose? I
Mm.
mean, and so we go ahead and we add this plan word. I mean, it's a four-letter word. Everybody's against four-letter words. So how does that actually look? I've actually built when I was a carpenter's apprentice. I've actually built the frames for a couple of houses, done some finished work, and then 25 years later, yeah, I think it was 25 years later, um, we planned on building our own house. And so I knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted it to look until I talked to a contractor and my dad, who actually worked with the same carpenter after I did. I didn't quite know how to go ahead. So I had a clear vision, I had a passion for getting it done, and a purpose to make a place for my wife and I to move into. Until I had the plan to move forward, nothing happened. And it's like that old saying, three frogs on a log. One decides to jump. How many are left? Three. He only decided to jump. And so when it came down to it, I had someone else build our barn, which is a metal structure. And then Dad and I filled it in because we both had carpentry experience. I had someone else finish the other parts. So it's like, how do you move forward? What happens now that you've got some kind of plan?
For me, it's what you are saying. You can start to be like creating a plan and having this to move forward. Like, okay, I know what to do now, and you start to do it. But if you don't plan everything that is going to happen and you don't create everything that is going to happen first in your mind, suddenly you don't. Maybe you are going to start to do something, but in the middle you are going to be tired and you are not going to finish. And working with the example that you are giving, building a house, maybe you know how to create the structure and everything, but that's everything that you know. And suddenly it's like, okay, I plan and I create that structure, and suddenly like, okay, and what's happening with all the little details that I have to do to finish the house? Oh, that is not important. That is not something, because I created the first phase. But suddenly you have an unfinished house and you can live in an unfinished house for the next 10 years because you didn't plan ahead. you know?
Or in my case, we ran out of money and didn't have a good plan for getting more. So, yeah, detail work is one of those things. It's amazing you mentioned that. Detail work is one of those things that I can see it in my mind until I actually do the work. It's not there. So
Exactly.
then, who do I get as a mentor? Who do I? When I tiled one of the showers, I watched a couple of YouTube videos, taught me what I needed to know. I had enough skill on the back end to replicate what I saw. Not everybody can do that though.
And now that we are connecting with this topic, because I have created a lot of projects and in different countries and different things. And always when you are talking about creating a plan, you create always you are going to start creating a perfect plan of what happens if everything is perfect.
Yes.
If you create something, sometimes you don't create anything, but if you create a plan, it's like, okay, this is going to happen, this is the money that I'm going to spend, and this is everything that I'm going to spend, these are going to be all the things that I'm going to use. But what happens if suddenly there is a storm when you are creating that house and half of the material is lost? Or what happens if other stuff start to happen? So in reality, when we are talking about plan, something that you have to plan also is all the risks that can happen.
Hope
And,
for the
and
best.
depending
Plan
on the
for
risks that can happen, you can plan ahead also what are the things that you can do to mitigate those risks.
and that's the thing I learned in the Air Force. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. And yet there's a fine line that can be crossed. Once we cross that, we're then living in the future. Then we're then worrying about the future. We're not staying in the present.
Yeah.
So hey, there's fine lines with everything, right? Double-edged swords all over the place.
No, exactly. And at the end, of course, you can plan for a war that is happening right now, and then all the material is going to go up because of that. Or you can plan because COVID is going to hit and nobody can move and go to your house and help you because everybody's locked down. So those type of things I know that are more difficult to plan, and now we have them like, okay, that is another possibility that can happen. But why we brought this topic to here and how we can really plan ahead, even talking about the risks that are coming or the things that maybe we don't know that they can come, but they can happen. So I know that you started to talk a lot about some of the things that we can have is and how people that you are connecting with can help you to really see better the future without getting anxious, because that is important. If you are getting anxious, it's because you are just thinking about the future and you are not living in the present and what is happening in the present. It's like, okay, I am here, and from my inside I can start to connect with what I want to create in the future, not what according to my possibilities and the thing that I have done in the past, what I can do in the future. Is like according to all the limitless potential that I have, how I can start to create something new.
So there's so this is where one of the things I learned in 12-step program, Overeaters Anonymous, it's an attitude of doing. If I'm not thankful for what I have, where I am, where I've been, then there's no joy. There's no actual pleasure in life. I get depressed. I have to take medicine. I contemplate suicide. Whether I do or not is irrelevant. It's just if I'm not living in gratitude and joy, I'm screwed.
And these two things that you are saying are something that we are going to even create a program talking just about that, what is gratitude and why that is important. Because really, if you start to think like, okay, you're talking about being present and being grateful about everything that has happened to you and that is happening to you right now. But when we are talking about the plan and the future, it's exactly the same. When you start to be like, start to create all the possibilities of all the things that you want to see in your mind first, and you start to be like happy about it and grateful about it,
Yes.
suddenly the things can start to happen. But if you're feeling anxious about it and thinking that that is never going to happen because it's not possible, because I can see my past and that is it's not possible for Alejandro to do something like that, suddenly the creation of that is not going to be possible. But start with the gratitude, to be grateful about this thing that you are thinking, like, okay, this is my plan. Do I feel grateful about it? Do I feel joy about this? Yes. Okay, that means that something good is coming in the future.
Yes. Yeah. It's amazing how how the human mind, the energetic structure of a human actually works. And so the more joy, the more happiness, the more present we can put into our visualizations, the easier they are. It's like adding oil to an engine. Um, Cars actually use a lubricant called oil, and if we don't put it in there, they stop turning. I know I've done that more than once, and it's the same way with the human mind. I mean, if there's no happiness, if there's no pleasure, passion, you name it, it's like not having the proper lubricants in a vehicle, and it will stop running, and it will cost a lot to get it fixed.
Yes, exactly. So let's change a little bit about this topic, and if at the end we depend on the people that we have around and how we are growing with that. So when you start to think about this plan and the things that you want to create in your future, how important is the mentor, and how you are choosing that mentor to help you to see things better and plan ahead.
I don't actually have sufficient words to describe how important it is to have a mentor, whether it's 400 books that one has read in the past, or it's a YouTube channel, a social media channel, someone you know. Having a mentor, someone who potentially has been where you are and can help you get there, I truly do not have words to describe how important that is.
So and this can be, if you we can change that name for mentor to coach to counseling to other stuff, and really let's start to see, like, I know that it's really important. So let's start to talk about why this is important, to have a mentor and to have somebody that you see that is going to help you to really create a better plan and to really create start to see the thing that you are not seeing, even inside of you, all the thoughts that you are having. So for example, something that I do a lot when I am coaching somebody is I am listening deeply what they are saying and how they are saying things. And something that happens a lot is people start to say, I don't know. When you ask them something, the first thing that they say is, I don't know.
I used to use that habitually.
So for me, it's very important to say, like, okay, William, see here, you are saying, I don't know. This is the fourth time in the last 5 minutes saying, I don't know. When you are doing that, you are blocking your creativity, you are blocking everything in your subconscious, saying, like, I don't know, so don't think about it automatically.
Automatically.
And suddenly, like, you don't have, I don't have ideas, I don't know how to fix or create what you are telling me. And the reality is, you have a lot of ideas and you can create a lot of things. But first, you have to believe that you know what to do, even if it's deep inside of you.
And another aspect is believe that I can even do it. Sometimes that's, for me, that's where an I don't know comes from, because it's like, I don't even believe I can do this. So if I say I don't know enough, maybe you'll leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. What do you use to help you plan better? Things that how you are using right now that you know all the things that you know, William, in regards of even energy work, even how subconscious works. And you were telling me some story that I would love to listen about when you were talking about the bank and the loan and how to change it and how many months it took for you. And suddenly you can plan ahead doing something differently, and very quickly everything changed.
Yes. Um, there were three companies involved in this one. So instead of us, the banker and my wife and I, thinking it was going to take a couple of weeks, which it has in the past, we're 2 months in, and last week I was actually listening to a book that Alejandra, you recommended a while back, and it just occurred to me that I could visualize signing with gratitude, visualize signing the loan document. And I put that out there so that it's just putting it out to the universe, making my order, and saying, okay, everybody, this is done easily and quickly. And then I boiled it down into 3 words using gratitude. It's like loan finished now. And so yeah, I'm just impressed that it actually worked, um, because that was a week ago, and we received something in the mail earlier this week that everything was ready. So now it's just a matter of setting up an appointment with the banker. I'm I'm amazed. 15 years I'd forgotten that worked.
Yeah,
So when I need help, I reach out to the people who know more than me or have better perspectives than I do about the subject that I'm having trouble with. And so I'm having someone to talk to and getting a different perspective is absolutely important. It's
and once
necessary.
again, we can talk a lot about the other thing that we were talking this morning. For example, I was talking about something that is happening with my one of my kids, that he is very stubborn and he is fighting all the time, and he doesn't want to do a lot of the stuff that a normal 2 years old kid maybe can do or not, because they are in the terrible too. And I brought that idea to William, and I was like, okay, let's. I am already in my mind like this is the way that I am thinking. Help me start to see other possibilities. Why? Because I was completely blocked with all the things that I knew that I can do, and started to see what are other things that I can start to do. And that's why we are helping you bring some ideas of why having a mentor, having a coach, having a good friend that you can have this type of conversations, deep conversation, that we were going to have another type of conversation, and we started like, okay, but this is something that I am suffering right now. Let's start to dig and start to find what other possibilities can happen. And we started to see some of the other things that I can start to do, and I can start to see with my kid. So it's the same. You want to create a house, you want to have a loan that is different. You want to work with your kids, you want to work with your business. You want to see people signing for your new. as a customer with you. At the end, you have to start with first being inside of you, creating the plan out of gratitude and out of joy. And if you are with gratitude and joy and happy about what is going to happen, things amazing things are going to start to happen. So this is the program for today. William, do you want to say one final word or final thing to share with people here?
You know, one of the most important questions when you want to go somewhere, when you want to even develop a plan, who are you learning from? Who's teaching you where to get where you want to go? I mean, there's hundreds of books to learn from. There's hundreds, thousands of YouTube videos to watch, um, on and on and on. So it's just a matter of who do you get your information from? Can you trust those folks? That's one of my last thoughts. What about you, Alejandro?
And for me, it's like, for me, it has been a lot of help to have mentors and coaches and people that really can listen the things that I can listen. Because I love to read, I love to see, to learn from different parts. But really, when I started to grow faster, was when I started to be able to be like, okay, I can be vulnerable and I can start to share the things that I don't want anybody else to listen,
One
but
on one.
able to do it.
Okay, so person to person, having someone specific that you can talk to.
Exactly.
Okay,
And it can be even in a group environment, it's okay. But at the end, that part of people listening to what you are saying and how you are saying it is really important. So this is the last part. Thank you, William, for today. Thank you, everyone that was listening to us. This show can also be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and leave it. See you all. Bye bye.